I will upload the previous one and today's one today. The recording I will add you today to the same drive.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So just we will do a recap of this one. So this is the structure of IDM HR system, IDM systems, and between we have a VDS system. So in IDM systems, we have created a separate identity store package, identity store, which is identity store 2. And we have imported the HCM packages and the schema. That schema, especially we have this is one of the important entry type where the data which is coming from HR, this is getting loaded. So what will happen whenever this data is getting loaded in this entry type, here in this event process trigger, this will trigger, this process will trigger. If you go to here, this is one process, this trigger has been set up. So whatever the data, the moment this data will come in this entry type from HR system, this process will trigger. And what is this process called? This process holds write HCM to SAP masters. What is this write HCM to SAP masters? This is first checking its surname of the sysname of the user. If any sysname exists, then it will create. If not, then it will create the ID as it is partner. And if you go to here, you will see in the destination, this is the IDM attribute, and the right hand side you will get the corresponding HR attributes. So from those HR attributes, ID will be created in the attribute section, IDM attribute section. Okay, this is the functionality of our HCM staging area. So first we have created the identity store, then import the schema, and then import the HCM packages in the IDM side. Second, yes.
Here do we manually select which is the system for our case, or it's already given by SAP as a standard?
Which one?
The system. You said the system is updated in the user master, right? Sorry, this IDM.
Yes.
SAP master.
Can you just move from your, I think, fan?
Just a second.
Yeah.
Fine now?
A little bit.
Okay. So my question is, how IDM get to know which is the system for that user, which is coming from the HR?
0105.
I'm coming to that. So just as of now, just think whether that user ID is there, then it will create the user ID. Else it will create the partner as a user ID. That is the MSK value.
Okay.
Okay, partner as a MSK value. Now, what is that sysname? I am coming to that. Okay. So this is the IDM side configuration. Okay. Now in HR side configuration, what are the configurations we have done? In VDS side configuration. In VDS side, we have given three information basically. One is the port informations, where the IDM database details are there. So basically the database details will be the server where the database is installed. Okay. So here our database is installed on Unix server. So that is why you can see the entire details is the Unix server details. If you copy this one and paste it over here.
Actually, the password is encrypted.
Yeah, password is encrypted. So just this one and this one. So this is the user ID we have to use. RT schema and the corresponding, this is the password. Password, whatever you will give, the original password it will give. But when it will come over here, you will see this is the encrypted password. The user ID will be provided here during the installation. The ID has been created as ORIDM, but the default ID which is provided by SAP, that is MXMC_RT. This is the default name SAP provided. Okay, and this is the host name where IDM database is installed, and this is the port of the database, and this is the database server name BT2. So all those database details we have given in order to connect this VDS and IDM. Okay. The second thing what we have done, the second thing we have provided the user ID and password. This user ID and password will be provided or will be given in during the configurations area. The same user ID and password, you can see that user ID and password over here. We have created one new user ID and password also we have given yesterday when we are configuring that one. So let me delete this one. Not exactly, or rather I can HR user. US year. HR user, this is the user ID we have created. Created means that user ID no need to create in this system. You can directly select this user ID over here. Okay, you can directly select this user ID over here. That is not necessarily should be present in HR system or in our this HR system. Okay, it is not necessarily that need to be present. So we have given this user ID and password in the VDS section and the port that we have selected. 43H9, the port we have selected, and finally we created this XML file. XML file is nothing but the configuration file in VDS system in order to connect our HR system and the IDM system. Okay, so these two informations we have to provide, and also the KNS file, as I have shown you yesterday, last day session, that KNS file you have to maintain. Now coming back to our this area, in HR area, the configurations in the HR area. So first what we have done, create our RFC connection. In SM59 we have created one RFC connections of TCP IP connection type. Then we provide a system user over here. The system user, you can see, this is the system's user that we have selected. This is the newly created user we have given, HR user, and the corresponding password. Whatever the password we have maintained over here, same password we will be maintaining in this area. Okay, this was created, and you will be creating one LDAP server. The LDAP server means in order to connect our VDS system, we will be creating one LDAP server. Okay. Now we are facing a problem, that host name. So what was happening, the virtual directory server which is present in our UI, the shortcut which is installed on Windows. Okay, so that is the reason it was not taking, it was not connecting. Our system, the entire system has been installed on Linux. Our Unix server, IDM, the database, the VDS also installed. So we have to give, or we have to configure that VDS server in our Unix server, where we have done, means where we have to do all the configuration. Because suppose this is the Unix server base. This is your base on which you have installed all your thing. Here you have installed your IDM machine, your IDM configurations you have done, your database, your VDS. This is your VDS server you have done, IDM component, your DB component, your VDS component, everything that you have done. Now in order to connect this VDS, definitely you need to have a channel through this Unix server. Right? Through this Unix server, you have to create a channel. And for that reason, you have to provide this Unix server location in order to connect our VDS system. This Unix server host name, or this Unix server location's name, we have to put it over here. And in order to open this one, we need to have this one.
MobileXtorm or PuTTY, but MobileXtorm is better.
Yes. So using PuTTY, you can connect to this server. The very one simple, when you log into this server, it will be asking your user ID and password for the admin. It will be mostly provided with the basis team, that user ID, admin, some user ID with admin, ADM will be your total user ID, and password will be the corresponding password. Once you log into the system, the path which you have to
You exit from the VDS. I will show.
Yes.
Click on exit. No, not like that. Go to file and exit. Go to VDS. File, exit. Oh.
When you close it, it will be saved.
Okay. Now hit PWD.
Yes, that's what I am trying to show.
Oh.
So this is the path where your VDS is installed. So you have to go to this path. You have to go to this path.
CD space.
Oh, CD, sorry. You have to go to this path and then you have to write this comment. In this path, basically you will see this IDM is installed. This virtual directory server is installed. So you have to write this comment. Under going to this path, you have to write this comment.
So why we are putting in double quotes is here the spaces are there between the
Yes.
if you see the command, there are spaces. That's why we are just putting in the double quotes. Otherwise, no need to put the double quotes.
Yeah.
That's just thumb rule in Unix, Linux.
In Unix, you cannot give any space. It will take until that. If you just without double quote, if you are putting some command, it will take up to that one. It will not go beyond it. So since there is a space, you have to put the entire thing within the double quote. So only after login to this area, this location, you have to give this command. And once you give this command and enter, your videos will open. After that, since we have created our XML file, you can select the XML file and open. This file will open. So any question on this area, how to open it over here?
Yeah, I got lost on this one.
Okay, let me repeat one second. So what I told, everything, this IDM, our IDM component, our database component, our VDS component, everything is installed in our Unix server.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Unix server, everything is installed. So the information which we need to provide in our server, that will be our Unix server host name. Because
VDS is
installed on Unix server. So even I want to connect this IDM system with VDS system, this VDS system, I have to connect through this Unix server. Correct? Agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to connect through this Unix server, and we have to provide this Unix server details, as well as if we have the HR system separately installed. Okay. If even we need to connect to this HR server to the VDS, we have to connect through Unix. Correct?
Yes.
So whatever the informations we have to provide in HR area, whatever the informations we have to provide in HR area, that information should be your Unix information.
Yeah, because if we have to connect to VDS, you have to give the Unix path. Yeah.
Unix. So yesterday I told this server host name should be the host name of the location where VDS is installed. Okay. So
yeah,
we have to put this information in your VDS. Now it is fine. Up to this, you are clear? So I have put this information. I have put this Unix information and the port number of VDS where we have created this XML file. Okay, port number of VDS, and this is the pretty standard information, and the system login user which we have given in the VDS, the same system login user ID we have updated over here. Now again go to the picture. Now I want to open this VDS. What I told you, in our desktop, in your desktop also, you will see one shortcut of VDS. This VDS will not help us. Why?
Yesterday we installed the VDS on the Linux.
Yes, this VDS which is present in our desktop, that was installed on Windows.
Okay.
That was installed on Windows and give us a shortcut so that we can log in this VDS in the Windows, but that will not help because our main software, whatever, everything is there which is based on our Unix server. So yesterday we properly installed these VDS on Unix.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this will not going to help us as of now. Okay, so we can remove it from our desktop.
Okay.
Okay, now in order to open these VDS, we have to open through Unix. Okay,
Okay.
in order to open through Unix, we have to use either PuTTY, we have a base system must have the PuTTY, or this MOVA Xterm, that MOVA X Personal. This is one software through which we can open, which will basically take us to this Unix server. This is the location where from where we can open the VDS.
Okay. 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 Now I got.
This is the location from where we can open the VDS. So in order to log into this system, you can see this is the user ID, ESA-ADM. Everybody who are having PuTTY access, their access is ending with ADM. Okay. So after login, you will be providing, you have to provide the user ID and password. Once you provide the user ID and password, you have to go to this path. What is the path? This path. User SAP ESA VDS. Because in this path, within this path of Unix server, this our virtual directory server is installed. So I went to this path, cd/usr/sap/esa/vds, and then finally open using this command /then virtual directory server. I open this VDS, which is actually opening on Unix.
Okay, but like in real life, we won't get this access, right? As a
We won't
security.
get this access. In
So how-
this scenario, base system will have this access.
So we won't even have access to the VDS server then. So we
Uh,
give that
no.
information to them.
If the information is needed, they might give you the access or they might not. But then this VDS configuration, you have to set up with the base system. You have to sit with your base system and you have to make this configuration.
Okay. So other than this integration, what else we do in VDS? We don't do anything else, right?
No, we just create the XML file.
Okay.
Okay, and once you open this VDS, before this XML file, once you open this VDS, you have a tool option, tool, under option, you will have, this is the details. This is the details where you have to provide your Java version. This will be by default, this Java VM application directory configuration directory will be coming up. Only you have to provide your application key file. That application.
The other day, right? Other day we added this key INI file.
No. Other day we have added it, but when we have opened through this Unix, so we have to again open this one. We have to again add this one. How to find this key INI file? What is the path that where you will get this key INI file? Normally, this is the path. Here only thing you will get it, that is ESA, that is in this test server. But in your real-time scenario, instead of this ESA, you will get IDM.
Okay.
The rest of the path name and locations are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there is a class path where you have to maintain your JDBC driver path. That why this is needed? This is needed in order to connect your database.
Mm-hmm.
Now to connect your database, you have to give this path in your class path. This is the two information you have to maintain, or the basis team has to maintain,
Okay.
because they are responsible for starting up the VDS. They are responsible. They will be responsible for this XML files.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can help them if you have this idea. You can help them, or you can check two things. You have to check. What the two things you have to check? This database information already they will be having. Only things you need to know, this is the user ID and password what is given during creation of that XML file. Okay, because you need this database, this user ID and password when you will be configuring this
LDAP server.
LDAP server.
Mm-hmm.
Samrat, this HR user is not mandated to create in SAP.
No, it is not mandatory to create.
Okay, so I mean, is that something specific to VDS, or we can give any name?
This is in there is some standard SAP document where you will find some HR_ user. Okay, so I just give something name. You can give your own name. That is up to you.
Okay, and there is no privilege or no authorization.
No privilege, because whatever you will maintain over here, automatically it will take the privileges, the full access privileges it will take. And we are just updating this user ID and password to connect. We are not needing any extra privilege to here.
Okay, it's just an interface user.
Just an interface user.
Okay.
Okay. So this is now clear how to open the VDS.
Yeah.
And you will see what is the server location 192.168.1.60. This is your Unix server location where VDS is installed. Okay, that is the reason I have given the same host name 192.168.1.60 over here. Port we have already created. The product name by default it is unknown. All those things are by default information. Clear? Now once we update everything over here, we have checked we have created this TCP/IP. We have given the application servers and it is open. We have created the systems user and given the password and save it. We have created our LDAP server with the VDS details information and saved. Now, how do I understand that all information which I have provided is correct and HR systems can able to log into the VDS server, or VDS server can able to log into the IDM server? How do I check? So this part is clear, right? Whatever the information we have put in which location.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do I check that one? In order to check this one, I have to provide the server which we have created. I have to provide the connector which we have created and click on login option. Once you click on login option, use system user. Which system user? The system user which we have just created. We have just created means we have just configured the system's user. Once you update this system's user and click on execute, you will see the operation successful. That means here it is logged in. That means your IDM system can able to connect to your VDS system. If the VDS is stopped, then you cannot able to log in. You cannot able to log in. Then you have to contact your basis team that we are not able to log into the VDS systems. Okay, so they will check whether that XML file is up or not. Clear?
Yeah.
Now this connection is set up. Now what is the second part that we have to do? The second thing we have to do the data setup. So where the data will be set up? In their HR location. Normally HR team need to set the data, and from where we can see those data? We can see those data from PA20. From PA20 we can see the data. So in order to save our time to create the user, yesterday actually Iswar has created, I request him to create some partner, 2-3 partner we can create. So he has created 2-3 partner. From P20 transactions, we can see these partner details. If you go to the action of this partner and see, where you can see this action type is hiring. This is the some random some position. This is the personnel area, user group 1, that means active, subgroup, this is some subgroup. Go to the org assignment. Here you will give their all types of organizational assignment, that is position, job, org unit, if you have any org unit. Here also you will give this personnel area, group, the employment group, employment subgroup, everything. If you go to another user, here you will see the same details, their personnel area. Here also all the same personnel area. All users are belongs to same personnel area. So we have created this information. Now, how we will send this information? Okay, how we have to send this information to VDS, right? From HR system, we have to send this information to VDS, and through to VDS, these information will come to the IDM system. Correct? Now, how we will send this information? In order to send this information, we have to create a query using SQ01. We have to create a query. Where we will create a query? In SQ01. Standard SAP already provided some standard query area. That is the global area, and under the global area we will have the other query group. You will see some query group over here, and if you click on some other query group, there is a query group area which is called SAP query /L1. You will see it. SAP query /L1 is a query area, is specifically created for HR LDAP extraction. This is the standard query area. We can use this query area as well. If you double click on this query area, you will see the default query area, the query name will be provided by SAP. One is 46C, one is 604. We used to connect this 604. Okay. In this 604 query area, what we actually do? If you click on the 604 query area, namespace only if they are urgent. This is pretty standard information. If you click on change, you will see some information. This is pretty standard information provided by SAP. Go to the basic list. Go to the basic list, and in the left hand side you will see basically what are the every field. Suppose P000. What is P000? Let me open PA20.
Partner, right?
No, P000 is the action type.
Okay.
Info type action. So in this actions info type, what are the things? A lot of things are there. Action type, action reason, employment status, special payment, position, etc., etc. A lot of things are there. So what are the things are coming into IDM system that is present over here? Under the P000, P00 partner is the C. Here in the right hand side you can see this is the field group of action. So from this P00, what are the things we are taking? We are taking partner. Go to here, we are taking partner. We are taking employment status. This is the employment status. We are taking the text of the employment status. This is the text, and this is the employment status is one, and this is the text. And not much information we are taking from here. Basically list and selection. List means what are the data will be coming, what are the data will be showing in our query area. All the information is coming, but in query area we are building a query. So what are the informations we want to put into the query area that we can update? So personal area, employment status text. Now minimize this one. Next one is P001, that is the org assignment. If you go back to here, P001 is our organizational assignment. Here we have the partner and various information. So let's go to here. You will see what are the informations are taking from this query builder. Company code, personal area, user group, user subgroup, business area, personal subgroup, work, cost center, job, position, all those informations we are taking. Normally, even if the standard or customized, we do not change anything over here. So far, I have not changed in any of my project. Okay. So now once this query area is built, you will see all those informations of those, all the fields will be coming over here in this query field. So these informations, basically enter informations, will be going to the IDM system. IDM systems, we do not need all the information. For example, to be more specifically, you will understand, go back to your personal data. If you click on the personal data, here you will have the last name, first name, total display name, my SSN number, my date of birth. This information is not needed, right? My SSN number or my date of birth, these informations I do not need in the IDM system. This is something my personal information. SSN number I should not share with anybody, correct? But HR need to know. If you go back to here, close this screen, this is a personal number. Here you will see the communication language, first name, name of birth, last name, title has been given. But no SSN number, no additional field. If you go to the additional field, start date, from date also be given. But those nationality, state, which locations I am present, the age of employee, those informations we are not sending into IDM system, right? In IDM systems, only need users first name, last name, their start date, end date, and the roles, privileges, these things. My SSN number, my birth date, date of age, all those information is not needed. But for HR, they are definitely needed. So these are the field. What are the field that we need to put into IDM system that can be configured from here in this location? Okay. Clear? Or if you have any doubt, please let me know.
It's clear.
Okay.
Yeah, unclear.
Okay. So then go back. Query area, save the query area. I don't want to save it. Now, once I try to execute, so this is the first what I have done. First, we have checked the basic list. What are the informations we want to send to our IDM system? That is the list. Then go back and trying to execute it. Once I execute, you will have two areas. One, which period you want to execute the data. This is by default, it is today, means whenever the user will start today's date. If you go back, sorry, the user start date, if you go to the action, the user start date is yesterday's date. So today's date, or maybe the system, it will take the system date. So let's say it will be today's date. So whatever the user will start from today, those informations will be taking. So this is the date period, on which period's data we are trying to take. And the second word is selections area. What is this selections area? This selections area basically the filter area. Suppose in your company belongs to various country. You have US people, you have UK people, you have German people, you have Australia people. So for everybody, all the people belongs to, not all the people sir belongs to your personal area, same personal area. This personal number 5 belongs to US 01. So it might be that another personal area, another user belongs to some UK 01. Another user might be from AS 01, that is the Australia's personal number. Correct. So all those users belongs to different personal area. But suppose your US and UK people are gone live with IDM. Your Australia peoples are using your legacy system. They are not gone live with IDM system so far. Then what we'll do? If you update all the personal numbers area of Australia's people as well, because they have to update the data in the HR system. And if you update that Australia's personal number, it might go to your IDM system, correct? The data. In order to stop that, we can restrict our selections area based on our personal number. If I give only our personal number is US01 and okay, only these US01 personal numbers user will be moved to our IDM system. Not all the users will be moving to our IDM system. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
Okay. Not all the users will be sending to our IDM system. Suppose in this system we have as of now we have only two personal area, D01 and US01. So total how many personal partner is there? As of now total 5 partners is there, no 6, right?
No.
So as of now total 5 partner is there, and I put only US01. If you try to execute, you will see only 4 record. You will see only 4 record. 1, 3, 4, 5. Where is 2? If you go back to your PA20 and see, you will see 2 is personal area DE01. So if you put the filter over here in this area is US01, apart from US01, no data will be moving into IDM system. It is been filtered. Clear this filtrations area? So once you save your filter area over here, you can save it. You can save these filtrations and create your new variant. You can create a variant called HR_extract_US. Just I am giving this name, that US user extraction. I am giving this name and save it. Once I save it, that variant will be saved. Now go back, select this query area. If you just execute without variant, you will get a blank screen. If you execute with variant, by default this SAP standard will come up. If you open this standard variant, because there is nothing, it will coming as a blank. Now select the variant which you have created just now. Select this variant. Click on OK. By default, you will see your filtered area is come up. Correct? Now from in the HR side, we have created the query and its filtration. Filter area we have created. So we are loading data into our HR system. We are loading data into our HR system through PA40, which all the data we can see in PA20, that is the display of HR master record. And we created a filter that which data we want to send, which data we don't want to send. We created the filter. Okay. Now, once we created the filter, what is our next step? Our next step that we have to, okay, one more thing that I told yesterday as well, during creations of this LDAP server, we have done the mapping, right? We have imported this XML file, correct? This is the partner, this is the structural name and the corresponding field name. P000 nothing but the action, and under the actions you will have P000 partner, that is your partner name. P00 another P002, that is your start date, end date. Those informations you have imported, right? You remember we have import. This is the import options is there. Since this is the exported for the first time, so we are done. We can import it. So this is the location. Where is the location? Under this configuration folder, under additional component, you can import this file. Okay. Now we have to map this attribute to our VDS attribute, right? Otherwise, we have to map all these HR attribute to the VDS attribute, correct? Otherwise, how HR systems will understand what data we'll have to send to our VDS system, or what data will mapping exactly what field mapping, that is the main reason that I am trying to say, the field mapping between the HR attribute and the VDS attribute. This attribute we have chosen for the VDS attribute, and HR already we have the attributes where the data is getting loaded. Now we have to map those things, correct? In order to map those things, we have to have one transaction called HR LDAP underscore map. Oh, HR LDAP underscore map. So HR LDAP underscore map, here we are mapping those attributes. So create mapping, decode HR LDAP underscore map. Okay, create our mapping. We are creating a mapping. So what we are mapping? What are the informations that we will map?
Query to VDS.
In the LDAP server, we have updated the this VDS attribute, exported this VDS attribute, and in the query area we have this HR attribute, correct? These are the HR attributes that we are going to send. Now definitely whatever the informations will be going to send from this HR attribute, that attribute has to map with the corresponding VDS attribute, correct or not?
Yeah.
So if you go to your transaction HR LDAP underscore map, which attribute area? This is the global working attribute area that we have selected. Global attribute area, we have already selected this one. What is the query name? /SAP query /L1. what is the user group? This is the user group name. And under user group, what is the query name? This is the query name. Correct? In this user group and the query name, we have to map. That part is why you have to map this query area. That is clear, or if you have some doubt, please let me know.
Yeah, I'm clear.
Okay. So after putting this global working area and this query area, let's click on import. Once you click on import, basically we are in actually yesterday to save the time, we have updated this all the field. Basically, this side is our IDM query area side, and this side attributes of VDS side. These are the only attributes of our VDS side. So the corresponding mapping, you can see the same name. If you go to the suppose P000 partner, and if you go to your VDS mapping area P00 partner, what is the structural name? P000 or P40. This is the attribute group name, and the corresponding attribute field is P00 partner. This is the attribute field name. Where the again P8003 object, here you will see P8003 object. So all those informations of the corresponding VDS system which is mentioned over here, that has to be mapped with our IDM systems attribute. What is this? From where these attributes are coming? These attributes are coming from this query area. If you go to the basic list, go to the query area, you will see all those information. P008, right? So where is the P800?
Last one, 800.
Last one. If you go to here, see this has been ticked. That means these informations we are passing. P8300 object ID. If you go back to here, this is the object ID we are passing. We are sending into IDM system. And that is why this list has come up in the left hand side. And the corresponding right hand side information we will be putting from our the mapping field, basically from the mapping field. If you go to the mapping field, this is the mapping field. Correct?
Yeah, got it.
And once you update, you can save this information, go back. So now, what we have done so far? We have created the connection between HR, VDS, IDM. And we have checked the connection. How to check? We are in the LDAP server, putting the LDAP and the connector's name, click on login. If it is green, that means the connection is fine. Now we have created a query. In the some query user group area, some query field, that is the standard query field, where we have created the query using the filtration. Using the filter, we have created the query. If you don't want to put any kind of filter, whatever the data present in IDM, if you want to put those data into your whatever the data is present in your HR system, if you want to put those data into your IDM system, that you can put. So no need to give any filtration. Next, what we have done, the query is built up. What are the area, what is the informations of this query? What are the informations we will be sending into IDM system, that has been set up. Now we are mapping that HR's attribute and the corresponding VDS attribute using a HR LDAP underscore map transaction. So HR data is there, mapping is there, created a query builder, what are the fields we are sending, and the connections is there. Now what? Now we have to send those informations. We are sending this data, we are sending this information to the IDM system. How to send this information? Using program called SA38 transaction extraction to program. Okay. So let's go to our SA38 transaction. What is the program name? The program name is RP LDAP extract underscore IDM. This is the default program name provided by SAP. Okay, this is the program name we will be using over here.
Okay.
Or you can create your custom program name, that is up to you. But this is the standard program name SAP has been provided. Now you can, there is an again with variant and without variant option. Just click on without variant option. You will see the entire thing is blank. Correct? Now I am putting what is the LDAP server that we have created. What are the informations that I have to give? Here we are doing the LDAP connections, right? So what is the LDAP server that we have provided? The LDAP server is IDM HR VDS. This LDAP server I am putting. What is the query area? Slash SAP query slash L1. What is the query name? I used to forgot. Now go back. This is the query name. Now if you have a variant, right? You created one variant. You remember here when you are putting a filter, you created a variant. If you don't put that variant in this query area, if you don't put this variant in this query area, whatever the data you want to push it from IDM, this is the personal number. Whatever the personal number, whatever the data you want to push into IDM system, it will go. If you don't put this variant over here.
Samrat, before executing it, show them the difference in VDS and to the now which data is there, now which data is going to add.
Yes, that I will show, but just showing you. If I don't put this variant over here,
All the data will be copied.
all the data, whatever data I will put over in this partner, in order to extract the information, I have to put the partner. Correct. Whatever the partner I will put, those data will be extracted. Okay. So if I were to put this one, if I were to put our filter area over here, I have to put this variant. Got it? Got my point?
Yeah.
So now all the information I saved it like this. I want to save it like this. Every time I don't want to lose this information. So if this information is correct, I can save this information and create a variant again. What is that variant? Let's say I put this variant name as extract program. Okay, extract program US partner extraction. So I save it. Now I am going back. What is the query? What is the query area? RP LDAP extract. Once you select this query area, click on again without variant, again this screen will be coming as blank. Go back. With variant, select the variant just you have created, open it, all the settings which you have done, that will automatically come up. You don't have to put again and again. Now one variant I have created in this area in order to execute with the filter. Another variant I have created in this area in order to execute the program, the data.
So we have two variants. One is for the query and one is for the program.
Yes. Now the queries areas variant we are using in the program, and the program areas variant will use somewhere, that I will tell, because we want to set up this data, we want to check this data. Only US record will be sending to IDM system. Okay. So now what I am doing, I am only third record, only partner 3 I am sending into IDM system. I want to send this partner 3 into IDM system. Correct? So let's send this information. Click on execute. The system exported record successfully. That means from HR system, data moved to your VDS system. Automatically from VDS system, data will move to your HR system HCM staging area. And in this HCM staging area, what are the things are there? The data is getting stored into your entry type called HCM.
Mix HCM employee.
Yes. This HCM employee, once this HCM employee data is getting updated, automatically this add process will trigger. So let's close all those things. Go to our IDM system, click on the log. You will see this data has been checked. This data has been sent into our IDM system just now. Okay, but you just clicked over here and data has been came up. You just clicked over here and what is how many data? You will see only one record. If you click on this one, you might see this is the info of that user has been came up. So now how this data is moving? I just click the program and data is moving. And how to check that whether the data is moved? We build up a query, we build up the mapping, we build up the program along with the filter area and then send the data. So based on our picture, Can you see, can you tell first where from HR we trigger the program, correct? Now based on our picture, first the data will hit where?
VDS.
First the data will hit in the VDS area, correct? So how to check that? If you go to VDS, if you go to LDAP browser, in these configurations under that LDAP browser, go to credentials, user ID, we are putting user ID is HR user, correct? And the password we have given SAP admin 1234. You are putting user ID and password and click on refresh. You will see O equals to ID store. You remember that is the host name. We have maintained O equals to ID store.
Yes.
If you click on this O equals to ID store, if you just right click on it or double click on those information, O equals to ID store, here you will see yesterday we have moved 1 or 2, today I have moved 3. And once you click on 3, you will see all those informations of third record of third partner, that is partner 803 has been updated. This is the attributes name and this is their corresponding value. This is the attribute name and this is the corresponding value of that particular partner.
One more thing, Samrat mentioned that operation, they can check the logs. In the top operation tab.
Yes. In the top operation tab, you also can check the log. If it is not connecting this VDS server or if it is connecting, that log you can see it from here, whether the VDS is able to connect or not. Okay, that information you can check it from here. Although since we can through this LDAP servers we are able to connect, so that means it is connecting. But from VDS also we can check the operation log whether it is connecting or not. So once I run the program over here, that data is coming into our VDS system. Here you can see all the records, all the attributes of the VDS system has been came up. Even MS key is 4474. Go to the log. Here you can see the MS key is 4474. That information has come up. Just give me 2 minutes, please.
Again, I will put this mobile XTOM on you. Okay, you don't have access in our server, right?
No.
Okay. In your server, you have access to VDS and all?
VDS I'll check.
Now, can you tell me this 4474, this user information first where I can check? We can check directly in the UI, that is not a problem. But UI, since the data has come up in the UI section. But my question is, where this data will come first where it will hit from this picture?
VDS.
Sorry, not you. I'm asking Chandra or again, if you tell me.
Yes, so once the program is triggered, the data will first go to VDS and from there.
So in the VDS, we can see the data, correct?
Yeah.
Now from VDS, where it will trigger, where it will hit?
It will go to the HCM staging.
It will go to the HCM staging area.
Mm-hmm.
So now how to check the HCM staging area? Go back to the database. In SCM staging area, what will be the entry type?
MX,
MX.
sorry, a person, right?
Now, in SCM staging area, what will be the entry type? The entry type will be MX HCM employee. Okay, there this data will be loading. Let me open. Okay, select star from ORIDM underscore OPER dot IDMV underscore entry underscore sample, where MC entry type, I told you the entry type, right? Entry type is MX underscore HCM underscore employee. If you run this query, you will see this is the entry type. This is the entry type that has been created, and you can see this is the MS key 4474. If you check the log, you will see the same 4474 log. Now, using this MS key, go to another query, go to another table where ORIDM underscore OPER dot
Star
from that is why it is not coming. From OPER dot IDMV underscore value underscore basic, where MS key equals to this. Now you will see all the corresponding information. Basically, to be more specific,
it is a copy of the
ATR name and a value. I am just putting two filter. Okay.
Samrat, it is just a carbon copy of the VDS structure.
It's just a carbon copy of that VDS structure. Just a carbon copy of the VDS structure. Whatever the data is putting over here, it's just a carbon copy of that VDS structure is being updated over here. Now this ATTR name
Is a
and the
canonical name.
corresponding value. Now going back to your system and check this process. Here you will see two identity store. Two identity store means we are updating the data into IDM from SCM staging area to IDM. How do I mapping? If you check the mapping, for example, display name. Where is the display name? P0001-E name. Go back to the database. Display name is this one, and field is P001- and the display name. This is the attribute name. This is the original field name. The corresponding data is updated over here. So from this value, it is updating our IDM display name. All the naming conventions are keeping same to make it understand. So if you go to IDM, click 00000003.
Actually, don't come because I maintained the 10.
Sorry?
I maintained the 105 info type.
Oh, you maintain the info type. That is why it is coming the info type. This is the info type has been came up. This is the info type is updated.
Was I maintained in 0105 communications info type. I maintained the user ID in HR.
Yeah. So Gyan questions was there that you asked one question, right? What would be the user ID and where that user ID we are maintaining, right? That was your question.
Yes.
So we are maintaining the user ID in, if you go to the user master's record, click on 3. Here, where is the
Info type, give the number 0105.
yeah, well, that should be coming over here, but
No, that won't come.
yeah,
0105.
05.
Subtype 001, 0001.
Let it be, let it open. So if you just click on overview, you will see info type 0105 is your info type of user ID, and 0010 is your communication mail ID.
Okay.
There are two info type is important in this area. 000105 is the communication info type. Under that subtype 0001 is your user ID, and 0010 is your email ID, communication email ID. There are two types of email ID is there. If you click on the subtype, you will see lot of info is there. 0001, that is username, that is SYU name, right? Sysname, I was telling. 0010 your communication info type. 0030 is your private email. This is your official email, this is your private email. If you want to put any kind of private email, your personal email ID. If you want to update your pager number or all those, but mostly important 0001 and 0010. If you don't update this 0001, the ID will be created as a partner. I think then your business scenario is the same. Your ID is created as a partner. Correct? In your business scenario, all the IDs are getting created as a partner.
Not all.
Gyan, you
Cases
just
I've seen-
check 0105 whether they're maintaining or not.
Yeah, I mean, for few cases we have a different partner and
User ID, and but
User
few
ID.
cases, for example, your case, since you are a not permanent employee, that could be the reason that for contractor employee they don't provide any user ID. So for your case, you do not have any info type in this area, because this info type is needed specifically for ESS MSS role, employee self-service, manager self-service role in HR system. Their HR area, if you need to have any kind of access, for example, leave request or salary structure, managers need to approve their leave request, manager need to check their salary, people's salary structure and all those things. For those, you need to have ESS and MSS role in HR system.
Okay.
And for that reason, you need to have this mandatorily maintained this info type. So for business cases, for business users might be having the info type, but for employee cases, it is might be that the info type is not present.
Okay.
Hey, Samrat.
Yeah.
So one of the previous company where I was working, they were generating the user ID based on the employee number, but they were adding E in the front. So I think we have to have a query that creates the ID when we are bringing into IDM.
Come again, please. E as the front means where?
So like employee number, right now we have 3, right?
Yeah.
So the user ID would be E03.
Okay. So they are maintaining this E03 over here.
Yes.
So they are directly maintaining whatever be the user ID, that their process.
Mm-hmm.
They are maintaining this user ID over here.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they will create in the AD's Active Directory and they will push it to the HR.
Yes.
Yeah.
Different multiple scenarios you can assume.
So whatever we maintain in the system ID field, that will come up in the
that will come into the IDM system. It will create your user ID. See the primary, well, I have not done anything for this user, right?
Okay.
So all the first name, last name, email ID, and so informations, all the separate informations has been coming up.
Okay.
Okay, so Samrat, what I was trying to say is once the employee number and the partner and other information was entered, so that would trigger a program which would create the user ID based on the partner number. Create the
No, it,
user in XU01. So
yes.
then that was updated in info type 105.
Come again, please.
So someone from HR would create a entry for an employee, say suppose,
Yes.
and once that partner is created, a program would trigger in the HR system and it would create the user ID based on the partner. And it happened
But-
easy.
But if you are telling that it will create the user ID based on the partner, there is two things. If you don't update this info type, then the ID will be created as a partner. That is, here you will search 0003. Probably, Ishwar, you have created for all you have maintained the info type, right?
Yeah, for everyone I maintained, but you can delete for one thing and you can create. For this you can delete, I believe.
Yes. So if I delete this info type, let me. Sorry.
So what my question is, like, if instead of the program generating the user ID, can we have something like appending the E0 with the partner number in IDM when it's creating the user?
Yeah, that also you can do. That means you are telling that I will not put the user ID in this area in HR. Rather, I will create the partner, and based on we create the partner, push it to the IDM. While creating the user in IDM, it will automatically generate your E0 file. And later it will come back to HR system, right? That is what you want to say.
Yes.
That also you can do.
Okay.
That also you can do. How you can do?
So I think you have to define a process, I guess. Right?
Exactly. How you have to define a process here. Then I have to create it. Here the standard SAP process is maintained, right? Whatever the data is coming from partner or P1015, it is writing into your MSK value. But in your case, you have to create a process so that from your partner and along with the your customized something, whatever you want to add, that and that create your user ID and update it. That you have to do totally customizations you have to do. That custom program you have to create. And in order to write back, there is a completely different scenario of write back option. Completely different scenario of write back option. What is the write back options? You have a functional module, which is I am not sure whether the functional module is created or not. Definitely it will not be there. Their functional module is called HR communication. This is the function module. You have to create this function module as a privilege. Once you add this function module as a privilege over here, then you can update those things into your HR system.
Okay.
You can update using this function module, using this privilege, it will trigger a function module in your HR system. If you have the function module, what is the transaction for function module? I forgot.
SCAT.
SE 37, I think.
Let me check.
Here also you can open function.
Yeah, yeah.
You can select there, class or interface is there, right? Drop down. Above, class or interface drop down. Above. Class,
Yeah, yeah.
tree, above that. Yeah, drop down.
Program.
So program, function module is
A function module is needed. Okay, let's see.
37.
37. Yeah, this is the function module area. One function module is identity underscore create. If you see this function module, the function module, sorry,
Spelling.
IDEN.
No. It's a click on insert on your keyboard.
Yeah, yes. Identity create. Let me check.
Just give identity star and F4.
Yes. Identity modify, sorry, not create. Identity modify, it will trigger when you will update that HR underscore communication, that function as a privilege, it will trigger this function module in HR system to update your info type 0001 and 0010 based on their partner. This is the function module which is using in order to update that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Since you asked this question, I will show you, because today we don't get time. I will show you my business scenario in my client system tomorrow, so that you will have the clear picture of it.
Okay.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can answer now, or it's okay if you answer tomorrow, but just wanted to ask, like, how this is like you are updating whenever there's a new employee hired.
Yes.
But how do you do when you are connecting the system for the first time to IDM? So you have to load all the data, right? Existing data?
For you or for the user?
Initial load, basically.
Initial load, yes. Initial load we have to do. Actually, the initial load class is not taken for you. Okay.
Okay.
So those initial load we have to do. That I will separately will discuss these things with you.
Okay, fine.
So this is okay. One more thing that I like to say, and then end of today's class. So what you did, you finally extracted the information, right? SA38. You have extracted the information with the variant. Now, my question is, whenever you are creating any info type or partner in IDM, you will be sitting and manually running this program? No, right?
No.
Any job.
So what we can do, we can create a job. 1036. We can create a job. Let me check by default any IDM job is present or not. So no IDM job is present. We can create a extraction job, HR LDAP underscore extract underscore IDM. You can create this job. You can job selection. You can update the app program. Okay, what is the above program? RP LDAP underscore extract underscore HR. You can update this above program. Extend job selection. Under this above program, what is the program? Okay, this was the job, right? And where to update the
Go back. Click on execute. No, click on execute.
Job name is star.
Yeah. You give some job name.
Yes. HR LDAP underscore extract underscore IDM.
Click on execute. No, actually, go to SM36.
I went to SM36.
Okay, go to step.
No,
Not start.
Oh, yeah. Step. Sorry, I actually put the wrong.
You have to give the variant.
Yes, I have to give the variant over here. Under this, what are the variant is there? This is the variant. I have to put, save that variant. So, I am running a job with this program, with this variant. That means, with this variant. That means, I am putting a filter on the job. What data will come up? That variant content, your query area, along with the query area variant. Correct.
Yeah.
The query area variant, so that which personnel number or which personnel area we want to select. That variant will give you when now we can select this job or trigger this job based on your business requirement. In our business scenario, this job is running in every 15 minutes. In my previous project, the job used to run 6 hours a day. Every 6 hours it is running. In another project where I worked, they only run this job in the midnight. Only once. So today, whatever be the user they have updated, if start date is tomorrow, then in midnight job, those data will be coming into IDM system. We cannot do, we should not trigger this any other time. And that is the importance of creating a variant in the program side. I told you, right, that we are creating a variant, and the purpose of this variant to update this variant in the job. Okay, so this is all about our HR integration.
Next we'll start GRC.
Not today. We will be doing it on the next day. Let's tomorrow we'll be sitting and we will show you my business scenario.
Okay.
And then from actually weekend I will not be available. Okay, so on Tuesday itself we'll be seeing it.
Monday we will see next Monday.
No, not Monday, Tuesday. I will be coming back on Monday.
Okay. GRC integration.
Okay, so tomorrow I will show you your all the business scenario, my business scenario, so that you will be, if you are having some other thought of some different business scenario, we can discuss those things.
Okay.
Okay, so same time we will join tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, Gan, you are okay?
Yeah.
So far that HR integrations is correct?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, then we can